Thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com, home of technical analysis education in both the stock market and cryptocurrency worlds. See the links in the description of this video for more information on our two courses, Entries and Exits on the Fundamentals of Technical Analysis, as well as our new course on Trading Cryptocurrency Strategy. Purchase both and receive a 20% off bundle discount. Thanks for checking us out. Let's get on to the technical analysis. Hey everybody, much better day for the bulls. I love trading cryptocurrencies. Too much fun, too much volatility. If you have not watched the past couple of days of videos, I highly suggest doing so just to get a little glimpse into my mind as to what I was looking at for this bounce to play out, and more notably the psychology and the fundamentals of what I was looking for, because I was looking for some kind of closure to China. I was looking for either an official statement from China or something along those lines to give momentum the shift and require the shorts to cover. So I'll go into the technicals here in just a minute. Before I do, a couple things. I'm going to go live this Sunday and going to release our cryptocurrency alert system we've been developing, and it is going to send either text or email alerts based on RSI levels getting oversold, based on MACD crosses, and based on inside bars forming. And we have a bunch of different cryptocurrency pairs that you can choose from, and so we'll go over that all on Sunday, and you can see if you're interested in that. And as far as this morning, we absolutely nailed this bounce in the chat room, and I certainly don't feel like I need to prove anything to anybody, but a lot of people have been asking me on YouTube, just, how do we know that you're doing what you're doing? You're just saying things after the fact, and I can absolutely respect that. It's a wild world out there, and YouTubers cannot be trusted. So I have a little screenshot from this morning where we absolutely nailed this bottom, 7:18 a.m., looking for the flush under Bitcoin 3000 to be the climax low for the morning before an oversold bounce. Then I start talking about we have not broken any hourly lower high at this point on the dump. Hourly higher lows and higher highs will be an indication of a potential trend change, but for now, just looking for a flush climax and a morning bounce. I will be entering LTC when I see Bitcoin flush under 3,000. So I was sitting there with my orders ready to go, watching Bitcoin on one screen, watching Litecoin on the other screen. I scaled into my position in the $35 and $34 range, and the rest is history, where Litecoin goes from 33.56 to 62.41. Huge gains on the morning. This is why my biggest days result from oversold bounces. Today is biggest day number 3 for me. All 3 of them are oversold bounces. So just patiently waiting for them. I highlighted yesterday how I entered prematurely twice, and I was looking for the bottom, and I was looking for a significant oversold bounce to play out, and it didn't happen. So I took small losses. I stayed cash, and that allowed me. Obviously, I made way more than I lost on those little losses on this bounce today. Also left a ton on the table because I didn't hold Litecoin into $60, but certainly not going to regret or have FOMO about what could have been after a bounce that big. Certainly couldn't have anticipated that happening. So what happened here is we pretty much, China news is done. That is now priced in completely. China and these exchanges will have no further bearing on this market, in my opinion, unless something comes out where it's reversing and China comes out with their own currency, or China, just needed licenses for these exchanges, things like that. But in terms of bad news from China exchanges shutting down, that's done. That's behind us. And here's a tweet. OKCoin, and don't even know how to say it, just announced to stop crypto trading by October end. That's a wrap, time to move on. And pretty much the market said the same thing. And I don't think the market is reading this and saying, oh, she's right, time to buy. But I think it was just the psychology of the market where we reached that climax. Everybody's looking for 3,000 psychological on Coinbase, Bitcoin, on Bitcoin in general, and we got that flush. So let's look at that 5-minute time frame flush, and it wasn't a huge dump. And what had me prepared here is I could tell, I was watching the order book right here, and it was very clear that we were going to break 3,000 support. The bears had such a firm grasp on everything, but we were at, the hourly, the 4-hour, and the daily are all already extremely oversold, which is why I was looking for this break right here. This 5-minute window is when I was adding LTC due to the correlation. So we see the big volume climax, that is our low of the day, and then the bounce takes off. And then we see short covering. This is a combination of bulls buying the dip and shorts covering, and a significant short coverage. The 5-minute time frame, just beautiful higher lows and higher highs the whole way up. Bitcoin went from, let's say, just 3,000. It went all the way up to pretty much 3,900. So we had a 30% move on Bitcoin from the low to the high in just a few hours. Huge gains for those sitting cash and looking to buy this dip. And you could have gotten in late and still had a ton of gains. We're now pulling back. I'm in all cash. I'm not liking any entries here. Look at that big bear volume. I am waiting for the hourly chart to consolidate. So we got the hourly, 4-hour, huge move, huge volume, but too extended. And it came to a point, I'll show you my few trades here on Litecoin and Ethereum this morning, but it got to a point where I'm not giving back any of these gains today. These are mine, and now just patiently waiting for an hourly bounce. A higher low will form on this hourly time frame. Now from there, after the higher low forms, we're going to see our hourly equilibrium. We're going to see our higher low, likely a lower high, and a tightening range. From there, which direction we break, I would favor the bulls, but I'm not going to be betting on it. I'm going to be staying liquid and move in and out of these positions. The daily time frame is very clearly a volume climax with 7 hours to go. It is going to potentially be the highest volume day we have ever had in the history of Bitcoin, and I would say that is pretty much a sure thing at this point. So huge bullish reversal candlestick volume. Have to confirm it tomorrow with another green day. We made back a lot of this move. If this bounce plays out for multiple days, we will set a lower high, in my opinion, in the low 4,000 range. And we will look for a lower high to form compared to the all-time high, and then an equilibrium pattern to play out on the daily time frame. High, low, lower high, higher low, tightening range. Same thing I'm looking for on the hourly. It's just going to play out over a lot longer period of time. 4-hour time frame, huge bullish reversal candlestick, 24 hours of downside erased in 4 hours. Bull MACD cross, huge volume. This is the highest 4-hour volume candlestick in the history of Bitcoin, and just tons of action. In terms of when to take profit, I took profit earlier just to lock it in. I wasn't trading Bitcoin. I haven't traded Bitcoin in weeks at this point just because Ethereum and Litecoin had better opportunity in my opinion, but it was the break of these higher lows. So this level breaking, 37.50 was the first short-term red flag. This level, 35.85 breaking was another red flag. This is a potential bear flag on the 5-minute time frame. So the bears are back in control of the short term. It's just looking for that higher low to form. The 15-minute time frame shows the increasing bear volume on the pullback, bearish MACD cross. So just being very cautious here again because I don't want to get back and ruin. I could not trade again today and be just perfectly fine, which may be the case, and we'll see how that plays out. So let's go to Litecoin because that was what we were trading in the chat room, most of us here, and that signal was the flush on Bitcoin. I was doing the support and resistance for Litecoin I could care less about. It was all Bitcoin that I was trading based off of. So it had a volume climax here. We dropped down to 33.56. I was entering on this candlestick with multiple buy-ins. I think I had at least 4 different positions just spread out. Entered, saw this big bull move, exited a small position here just to ensure some safety and lock it in. And then when we ran up here, I exited again in the $45 range because that made my morning significantly. That right there was a 40% move in an hour. So I'm going to lock that in after what we've been watching the past few days. But I wasn't done. I still traded. We broke $50. I got in on the 50 break and played another few dollars to the upside. So all in all, had I held from the low to the high, which obviously no one can anticipate making the perfect trade, I would have had the biggest day that I've ever had in my trading career. But I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I should have held, because there's no way that I'm going to anticipate an 80% move in 3 hours with the short covering that was going on. So I'm perfectly happy with my gains. I traded it twice on the way up, and then I traded Ethereum as well. And what allowed me to get into Ethereum is the timing of Ethereum and Litecoin was a bit different. Litecoin was stronger than Ethereum and Bitcoin on the way up. There was more of a short squeeze going on. And I entered Ethereum here when this high broke. Actually, that's not the one. It was, where am I here? That's the daily. Here we go. 5-minute. This high breaking, 236. So we hit 236. We formed our higher low. And then on that bull break with bull volume, I got in and flipped it for about $5. So again, just being quick and locking those gains in. Again, had I held, I would have had bigger profit. But I learned my lesson yesterday where I tried to hold and tried to go for the home run, and I ended up with a small loss. So keep locking in those gains. Certainly not going to be, you just keep locking in profit and you're going to win in the long run. So here we are breaking the higher low pattern on Ethereum on the 5-minute time frame. So pretty much the big three are in consolidation, and it's the same thing for all three. We need a higher low to form on the hourly time frame. We need a bullish reversal candlestick on the hourly to be confident that our higher low has been established. We can use the 15-minute time frame to look for a break in the lower high and lower low pattern, which hasn't even started developing. We have to bounce and set a lower high first and see if we get lower highs and lower lows. But just looking at all three here, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, all doing the same thing. We just had an inside bar bear break on the hourly time frame, and we are pulling back for higher lows. So at this point, ideally, if you are trading, you are all cash. If you're going long and you want to hold this for multiple days, that's fine too. These are all huge volume climaxes, bullish reversal candlesticks, and Litecoin was such an opportunity today for people to get in under $40, and very nice follow through. So where we stand, let's just look at Ethereum's daily time frame. Same thing, volume. Well, actually, we might not get a volume climax, probably not. So that's notable for Ethereum. We're going to get it for Litecoin and Bitcoin. So where we stand, if you are looking for a swing trade multiple days, that's just fine. The volume here is here, and the bull volume is backing it up. But if we see a big upper wick like this, I personally would be a little bit more hesitant to swing. We need to see the hourly and the 4-hour time frame form higher lows and higher highs. At no point on this bounce have we seen the 4-hour time frame form a higher low and a higher high since this dump really got going here once the China names started confirming their closures. So we need a higher low and a higher high for continuation, and that higher high might not come until, early this morning, tomorrow, or let's say early tomorrow morning or tomorrow itself. So that's where we stand. I hope everybody had some good profit on the way up. Short squeeze, bulls buying the dip in combination of each other, and at this point, just protecting profits, not wanting to give anything back, and looking forward to more volatility. Traders love volatility. Even though I'm only playing bullish in this space, it took a lot of patience to wait for this, but that one bounce alone can make enough profit for multiple weeks where, you could sit on your hands and wait for the dump to play out. I wasn't. I was playing the small bounces on the way down, ended up with a few small losses because I was trying to fight the trend. But again, this all makes it worthwhile. So I appreciate you watching. Again, Sunday, I don't know a time I'll go live, probably around, let's say, afternoon Eastern, and I'll try and post a little bit of a heads up when I do that. But it will be recorded otherwise, and excited to release this alert system because I think it is going to be really useful. And another feature is going to be me, where I'm adding things where, like this morning's alert, it's going to be in the chat room for us, but if you're not in the chat room, I would send out a manual alert to everybody saying, watch for this 3,000 break, or, things that I'm noticing. And that's that. So I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you this weekend.